Hi everyone, so I am back again for another wrap up. So this is May's wrap up. In May I read a total of 5 books. Yes, 5 books. And you know what? That is half of what I read last month, so I have slowly been declining on my reading. I'm finally back at work and I'm just, the momentum has gone down. So I'm happy with 5, but I'm a little disappointed and we'll see how June goes. But let's just get into the video. So the first one I have to show you here is called Not If I See You First by Eric Lindstrom. So this is a book. First off, let's talk about this cover. So there is Braille on this cover. It's actually Braille, like it's lifted, which I think was a really cool addition to this novel. So this is about a blind woman who is in high school and she's a little bit of a pessimist and a realist. Like, she calls it how it is. I really liked our main character. She was a very strong woman. I felt like she didn't take shit, Like, I really enjoyed our main character. Anyway, these two schools merge or something, and so some people that she used to go to elementary school with are back in her life, and there is this mysterious guy who she used to be really good friends with, dated, but then he betrayed her in some way. And she is coming to terms with, should she forgive him after all these years for what he did to her? And should she hear his side of the story about what really happened? Did she misunderstand the situation? And so overall, I gave this book like a 4.5 stars. I thought it was really moving. I thought our main female character was amazing. And I really liked the story. Oh, getting into a story I did not like this month. It's called How We Fall by Kate Browning. So this was kind of portrayed as a forbidden love story, but it has a mixture of like mystery in there, which I found unnecessary. I feel like she should have picked one or the other to make a plot point out of, but she kind of mixed it. Anyway, this book deals with 2 cousins that fall in love and they live together, so it's kind of iffy with their parents and everything, and they don't want anyone to find out, but they don't want their relationship to go any further because then they can't take it back, and like people will find out and they're cousins, so it's terrible. But all the while, one of her old friends goes missing and she feels like she's been murdered, and so there's like that murder aspect. Anyway, reasons why I did not like this book. Number 1, I didn't like the forbidden love story. I thought like the cousins thing was just too much for me. I didn't understand it. I didn't like it. It felt icky. Secondly, I wasn't here for the romance at all. So I was really more into the mystery part of it, and it didn't really focus on the mystery until pretty much the end of the book, when we find out what really happened. And I hated our main male character in this book. He was a dick. He was a douchebag. He was the type of guy to gaslight you. So one of the main reasons I don't like him was while him and his cousin are dating, he starts flirting with this other girl named Sylvia, and our main female character, what was her name, Jackie, is upset about this and jealous, and he tells her, don't be jealous, there's nothing to worry about, blah blah blah, like, you crazy, like, she doesn't like me. Anyway, so the cousins end up kind of like breaking up, and immediately he starts dating Sylvia, the person that she was worried about, the person she was jealous about, and he gets mad at her for being mad. But then Jackie starts dating someone and he gets pissed. He is the type of boy to punch a hole in the drywall, and I don't like him. I don't like him at all. He was toxic and disgusting, and I didn't like him. And there is a lot more that I could talk about in this book, so maybe I'll do a whole separate book talk because I just have a lot of feelings about this book. Let's move on. Alright, so next I have The Outcasts of 19 Charlotte Place. This is by E.L. Kongsleberg. I don't know how you say that. I didn't like this book either. It took me a really long time to get through this book because I found it really boring. it wasn't necessarily that it was a bad book. It just wasn't my type of book. So it was a contemporary novel that really focused on this young girl, and she's like hanging out with her uncles, and they have built these towers, and the town has decided that after decades of these towers being up, that they are dangerous and they need to come down and be taken down. And so the girl's really upset about this, and she tries to take a stand against her town and deem these buildings safe and make sure that these buildings stay up. That's pretty much the whole plot, I guess. I liked the persistence of our female main character and the fact that she was so young and was standing up for this, but it just wasn't something I was interested in, and I felt really bored. All right, what was this about? Oh yeah. All right, so next I have Out of Easy by Ruta Sepetys, or I don't know how you say that. This is a historical fiction novel. I don't usually like historical fiction novels, so this wasn't my cup of tea. This is, when was this? Back in the 1950s. 1950s, New Orleans. Her mom's a prostitute, but she wants better for her life, and she wants to go to college, and her mom neglects her and all this stuff. And that's really all I remember. That's all I got for you. The last book I have to talk about is Suspicion by Alexandra Monier. This book was actually not too bad. It's kind of like a contemporary mixed with a little bit of fantasy. So she has these powers, but she doesn't really know how to control these powers. And okay, let's backtrack. Her family is like royalty. She's like a duke or something. I don't know, a duchess and a duke kind of family, so not like queen. But anyway, her family's royalty, but people keep dying at this place. So her family dies when she was young, and she goes to live with somebody else in America. And she never visits for years. She never visits London again. So when she gets news that her grandfather has died and she is now the heiress and the sole owner of this estate and everything, she decides to go back to London, where she finds out some mysterious stuff is happening. And yeah, that's really all I got. I'm terrible at explaining synopsises. So I feel like the reason I didn't like the majority of these books was I didn't pick them. I had my boyfriend pick 4 out of the 5 of these books. And then I decided I wanted to pick one for myself, and I really liked this one. So these are books that he picked out for me to read. And yeah, so that's it. And we'll see how this month goes. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!